Now it's time to get into the final topic. So we're going to talk about Nick Calandra, Second Wind, and Frost of Rivia. This is the video that I told you guys was going to be coming out when we last spoke about Second Wind. This video is insanity from what I hear. A lot of people are talking about it. A lot of people are saying it has some insane information. And I honestly can't wait to dive into it. I can't. I've been waiting for this all day. I saw them put it on Twitter, and I wanted to click it so bad, but here we are. It's time to react to this video. So just for some context before we get started, this is Frost of Rivia. Frost of Rivia is a former employee who quit with another employee from Second Wind, and he's been exposing Nick Calandra ever since he quit. And he promised that he was going to do a video exposing everything. And Nick Calandra is in damage control with Second Wind right now, and they have also been waiting for this video to drop before they make their response. Well, now we're here, and we're going to watch the video and see what Frost of Rivia has to say. So grab your popcorn, ladies and gentlemen, grab your popcorn, and let's get into this. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Go.
This video is not meant for mass appeal. It is meant to inform the SWG community and the developers and games media members who supported us along the way. That would include the 18,000 or so Patreon members and the over 400,000 YouTube subs and anyone else who has ever associated with us as a group. I feel we owe a lot of our success to you, and you are entitled to know how things went down. As such, this video will assume you are somewhat in the know of who we are and who I am. If you don't, well, what a strange way to meet. I promise my production value is not this non-existent normally. The intended outline of this video will start with the prefacing 2 hangups people might have. 1 being, if Nick is so bad, then why did everyone resign with him? 2, is this some kind of alt-right grift? Then I'm going to go into my problems with Nick and SWG leading up to my resignation, followed by what I found out about Nick after my resignation. The original video ended up much longer and convoluted than I expected, so I trimmed this one down to maintain more of the focus on Nick's behavior and separate SWG from his actions. There are more details and problems that went on at SWG, and that can be in its own video. Apologies if you don't like sequels. There are 2 details above all others that create a...
Just FYI, we're probably going to have to pause a lot because he does a lot of screenshots apparently, and he moves it very fast. So I want to be able to catch as much as possible. But here we go.
A little cognitive dissonance, making it hard to believe negative criticism of Nick Calandra. If Nick is so bad, then why did the others resign in solidarity? That's not how it went down. It just looked better for the news. How it went down is I warned everyone we were going to be fired because the executives were tired of Nick overpromising, overspending, and underdelivering, and were offering me his job. He had driven up costs by over 70% since the start of the year and lost somewhere around $30,000 to $60,000 per month on YouTube side alone, and getting worse. Only 3 people got to resign from the Escapist video team, myself and 2 others deemed profitable. Everyone else was fired. Yahtzee legally had to be the last to leave, so we wouldn't trigger a solicitation clause or no poaching clause. He wasn't poaching, but we didn't want to take any chances with whatever might be in his 15-year-old contract. Speaking for myself, there were a few hangups, but I liked the rest of the team, and Nick gave me a chance to get into the space to begin with, so I figured I could give him one as well. But now I've found out that even what I knew to be true at the time wasn't the full story. The rest of the team...
Jesus, this man tanked the Escapist. He drove up cost 77%. Holy shit. This is going to be a crazy video.
I didn't know that Gamers was planning on sacking Nick and giving the rest of us creative freedom at the Escapist. Nick threw a fit, said the Escapist would never be profitable. Yes, there would be layoffs because Nick went on a hiring spree and his Prima project failed spectacularly, but the rest of us would get to do what we wanted with the channel. Essentially, Nick threw us under the bus due to his failure to deliver on what he promised. The second detail from the perspective of a vocal minority is that this is some kind of alt-right grift attack against Nick. No, Nick has slighted many people with all kinds of ideologies and political views. I, unlike Nick, am not really the type to give unsavory people on Twitter the time and attention, and trying to frame it as me standing with them as a distraction from the fact that the intent of this is to point out that Nick Calandra specifically is the worst type of person that can end up in games media. He's been highly unethical, and the unfortunate...
Hold on, what was that? What was that? So...
That Nick...
What does that say? Jason Schreier uncovering crunch at CD Projekt Red. Behind the scenes, Nick was dissolving criticism to stay in the good graces of Evolve PR, who also represent THQ Nordic.
Calandra specifically.
He was accused of being a radical liberal because of who he sided with on Twitter in 2024. Behind the scenes dropped it after he claimed the person backstabbed him. back to hating games, journos, and grifters. This looks like a Discord. Yeah, Discord. Nick Calandra says, yup, I'm out of it. Haha. I got my reminder from XYZ, who's been an absolute piece of shit always and forever, and is not someone to trust. I'm done with it after today. These people can help themselves. Frost says, all good. Just wanted to check in. With second win, we could be bigger than both sides of them and actually do some good. Nick says, yup, I hear you. XYZ has been begging me for help for weeks. As soon as she found a way to be mad at me, she took it. So I'm back to hating game journos and grifters again. Oh, this is going to be a good video.
Is the worst type of person that can end up in games media. He's been highly unethical, and the unfortunate effect.
This looks like an email here from Nick Calandra to somebody. Hi, everyone. Tomorrow begins the final 4 days of the Kickstarter campaign for the Gamumentary short docs. It ends on Wednesday, August 30th. First off, I'd like to thank you for helping promote this and funding it so far. Blah, blah, blah. We also have a potential investor on standby that will put a minimum of $4,000 in it if we can get close enough to our goal over the next couple of days. So with that said, if we could promote the heck out of this, blah, 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 blah. Okay, interesting.
Facts of this is the validity of everything that's been published under his tenure will now come into question. I traced it as far back as August 2017 when Nick did not publicly disclose that one of the studios he was making a documentary for had offered a minimum $4,000 investment to get his fan-funded Kickstarter across the line. Since then, he's been trying to make bigger and bolder moves. They just don't pan out how you'd expect them to, I suppose. Claims to stand up for workers, developers, creatives, and consumers, essentially branding himself and the crew as the change the games industry desperately needs.
You probably expect me to end this video by saying something like, it's social media, so none of this really matters anyway. People are going to play the game regardless because the vast majority don't care how something is made and just want to have fun. Well, alright, that's all true. But what's also true is that we at Second Wind and you, the person watching this right now, spend a lot of time thinking about online conversations like this, or otherwise you wouldn't be here. Maybe you'll end up having actual interesting discussions about things like AI, unions in the game industry, plagiarism, games media, oh, and my personal favorite, out-of-touch executives.
Out-of-touch executives. That's so ironic considering that he's being accused of being a radical out-of-touch executive. That's fucking great.
However, have been anything but noble. During my short time at the Escapist and at SWG, he attempted to steer content in a direction that validated his views and minimized criticism of his biases and underhandedly tried to micromanage every creative decision. He isolated, overworked verbally.
Also, really quick, guys, keep in mind, Nick Calandra on Side Scrollers, you know what he called himself, right? Nick Calandra called himself a centrist. Just keep that in mind. Nick Calandra called himself a centrist, and we all knew that was absolute fucking bullshit. And he tried to pretend like he doesn't side with people like Alyssa Mercante, et cetera, et cetera. Let's be real. He is not a centrist. And even Frost of Rivia is acknowledging that he's not a fucking centrist.
He attacked and manipulated his coworkers. He blackballed developers and asked for game coverage one too many times for his liking, even though he set himself as the direct point of contact for the group and was actively against the idea of us giving free shoutouts or small deals to smaller devs who couldn't afford it. He would then try to funnel them back his way to bargain for paid consultations. All the while, he misrepresented audience feedback to exert his vision on the channel and misled the team and community about the cost of running a business in order to appeal to their sympathy and draw out more money from them. And all of this is so he can finally fulfill his creative vision, and when pressed on why he is paid as much as...
Wait. Oh, hold on. Let him finish. Let me go back really quick.
And all of this is so he can finally fulfill his creative vision, and when pressed on why he is paid as much as he is, he responds, I've gotten accustomed to a certain lifestyle, and I have a mortgage to pay.
Oh, shit. Oh, wait, so who's the grifter now? Wait. Who's the grifter? Wait, I'm curious. I'm curious now. Who's the grifter? So people ask you, why'd you get paid so much? And you say, I got used to a certain lifestyle. Wow. That's interesting, Nick. That's really interesting. Wow. I could say so much right now. I'm not even going to bother. I'm just going to fucking keep going.
In 6 months, his business decisions, content strategy, and community management raised our costs, just our cost, from somewhere around $600,000 to a forecasted ballooning $1 million cost operation, and eroded our goodwill and income, which he leveraged to make more decisions. For clarification, I don't believe Nick intentionally tanked SWG's value. From what I could find and from my experience, Nick doesn't set out with the intent to fail, and is stubborn about using the same failed plan he's been using for the past 6 years. You can see on screen what is essentially Calandra's thumbprint across Gamementary, The Escapist, Prima, and now Second Wind. He's been made aware by others and myself that what he does doesn't work. It's the whole reason everyone was fired to begin with. He refuses to change his ways and actively sabotages anyone who tries to help him or notify the rest of the team. And while I do hold Nick 99% accountable for SWG's problems, the structure within SWG was unstable from the start and falling apart, and most of the times I butted heads was when I tried to slow things down to reevaluate our costs and stop the overspending instead of pushing.
This motherfucker's got the revenue report. Oh my God, bro. Oh my God. Wait a second. Wait. Yo, you know what's funny about this? So what's funny about this is that Nick Calandra tried to say that they don't really do sponsorships like crazy on side scrollers. And here we are. If you look at their income. So this is for Q2 2024. So this is recent. This is this year. I want you guys to keep in mind this year, okay? So from YouTube, they've made $39,452. Okay. From Twitch, they've made $1,278. From Patreon, they've made $164,000 fucking dollars. From merch, they did $1,079. From sponsors, they did $70,000. And from donations, they did $992. So if you look at their expenses, they paid salaries and contractors $223,000. That is fucking insane. Freelancers, they did $5,588. Business expenses $3,824. Software and equipment $3,816. And in taxes, they paid $54,000 in 2023. They paid $54,000. That is fucking disgusting. So if you look at the summary, income, $277,000. Expenses, $291,000. They're negative $13,000. So why aren't you taking a pay cut, Nick? Why isn't Yahtzee taking a pay cut? You can make up this $13,000 really easily by cutting off $1,000 to $2,000 per employee. You guys have a ton of employees over there for whatever reason. So just cut. You can cut $1,000 to $2,000 and now you're net even. But you don't want to do that, right? Because you got used to a certain lifestyle, right, Nick? Is that what you said? You got used to a certain lifestyle? Interesting. Because if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, Nick Calandra went all over Twitter talking about other people's money and saying that, well, these people are grifters and they're only doing it for money. Really? Really, Mr. I got used to a certain lifestyle, Nick Calandra? Huh.
More people to the Patreon and milking the community we already had to capitalize on the momentum. This is a team of talented creatives who just wanted to make things. They didn't have the desire to get as involved with Nick's power grabs, and of the leads that routinely took charge, none of them were qualified to make business decisions or content strategy. SWG didn't choose Nick to lead, it's just no one else wanted it. Even I didn't want a lead role.
If you look at this comment here, it says Nick wanted the Patreon to stay above 60K and the war chest above 200K, but plans grew more erratic as we slipped below 55K and then closer to 50K. You guys know why that happened, right? This all happened because of the nonsense Nick Calandra was doing. Not everybody unsubscribed from their Patreon. Obviously, they still had tons of people subscribe. But ultimately, there was people unsubscribing left and right from their Patreon because of the way Nick Calandra was acting with Grums and everything like that. The fact that he was an ideological psychopath and everybody knew it and everybody saw it. There was a ton of people unsubscribing because of it. So they lost money. And it's obvious that they lost money they couldn't afford to lose because they were already losing money at the maximum that they had, which was 60 grand. So now they lost another 10 grand from their Patreon. They can't afford that.
Myself and 3 others are qualified to help, but saying so made us seem argumentative, defensive, and arrogant. The specific event that finally made me see there was no chance for change was when I asked one lead if they were afraid Yahtzee would leave if they kicked Nick out, and this lead said SWG would be fine without Yahtzee. The group would get to keep his salary, the money in the war chest, and that would buy them enough time to find their way again. This lead in particular encouraged an every man for themselves mindset from early on that led to strong arming within the group. This was essentially the same conversation I had with the executives of Gamers back at The Escapist that convinced me to leave then as well. I don't believe someone like that who can't perceive.
Now, this is something that we knew for a long time. We knew Yahtzee. Yahtzee made up over 50% of the revenue for the company. We knew that. They are nothing without Yahtzee. The fact that they think they can survive without Yahtzee is insanity. That's just pure and utter narcissism. You ain't nothing without Yahtzee. We know that. And they know that. It says, where's the value? Yahtzee videos and streams make up 51.31% of revenue. That's insane.